Oh boy, Peter. I guess if you had on your bingo card that, what is today, June 4th, June 5th would be the day that the relationship fell apart, you'd be winning. But at the same time, Elon Musk is a guy with very deep pockets. He's a guy that can, has a very, very loud voice on a platform that he owns. It's not so easy to break ranks with somebody like that.
Yeah, exactly. I had August in the pool, honestly, so I guess I was overly optimistic on how long it would last. That's how long Steve Bannon lasted in the first term. But you're right. There's a difference between Elon Musk and Steve Bannon, for instance. Elon Musk brings an awful lot to the table in terms of financial support for Trump and his team. He gave him something effective almost $300 million in last year's election. He's pledged another $100 million that I think he hasn't delivered yet to Republican effort in the coming midterms. That's a really important person in Trump's world. And so he's not eager necessarily to have a complete break with him. And I think it is interesting that he went as far as he did today, and Musk is pushing back as sharply as he did. Doesn't mean it'll last. Like we've seen with Trump before, a lot of people, get on his bad side at some point, and then he ends up reconciling with them in some way or another. But this is a really important moment in the early early months of this administration.
Yeah, but it got kind of personal in moments there, Peter. I mean, he was talking about Elon Musk's black eye, which was, I agree with the president, interesting. But the fact that he brought it up and he called it interesting, I mean, that felt like a personal dig at Elon Musk. And also to say that Elon Musk only cares about EV subsidies, it's going at not just his distaste for the bill, but going after his motivation and his reputation. There's something that feels a bit different about this.
Yeah, you're right. It is personal. I think it reflects not just what's happened in the last few hours, but what's happened over the last 4 months. There's a certain, shelf life with Trump, with anybody around him who sits in the shadow of the spotlight he wants to occupy, right? And so I think this reflects a certain frustration that had been growing with Elon Musk over these last 4 months. They would have figured some way for him to stick around if everything was going really well. They didn't. He left. And so I think, yeah, it reflects something larger than just today. Now, again, remember, Trump does like to get personal. I mean, he has a Secretary of State he insulted in many, many ways not that long ago.
I hear you, and I think you're totally right about that. I'm going to interrupt, so forgive me this once. You're right. He's gone after Marco Rubio. He's gone after Ted Cruz. He's gone after Lindsey Graham. He gave his phone number to an audience. I was in that audience. And all these people have lined up behind Donald Trump, but they are nowhere near as influential or as rich as Donald Trump. They don't have the platform that Donald Trump has. Elon Musk is very rich, and he has a platform. He's also uniquely mercurial, Peter. I mean, this is a guy that was a Democrat all of his life, only voted for Democrats, or at least while he was here, was a big proponent, a big fan of President Obama, turned away from the Democratic Party, not because he was suddenly enamored with Donald Trump, but because Joe Biden didn't invite him to an EV summit. Obviously, there was stuff going on there. There was some controversial stuff with Elon bubbling. But, I mean, the real turn happened when he felt slighted. So I wonder if it's so easy to say that maybe they will patch things up and everything will be fine tomorrow. But it feels like a dangerous risk to take.
Yeah, and I don't want to say that it will be patched up. I'm just saying that we don't know. But you're right. I think that's right. Elon Musk is different than Ted Cruz or Lindsey Graham or Marco Rubio. They're professional politicians who've learned the skill of ingratiating yourself to people in power in order to maintain your viability within the system, right? Elon Musk is not a political guy. And you're right. He's kind of an erratic person. He's somebody who's fathering children with multiple women because he thinks the planet needs more of his offspring. He thinks we ought to be moving the population to Mars as soon as possible. He by our own reporting, he uses certain medicinal products in a way that I don't think doctors would tell you to use them. And so he is unpredictable, and that makes him different than other people who have broken with Trump. No question about it. I think it'd be interesting to see whether Trump is willing to let him go altogether, because it would be a dangerous thing in some ways for Trump to have Elon Musk entirely on the outside.
The medicinal products that your paper was reporting on that he was allegedly using were ketamine, mushrooms, and Adderall, apparently taking so much ketamine that he told people that it was affecting his bladder. This was during the 2024 campaign, again, reporting from the New York Times. Jake, I want to talk about the reaction on the Hill. First, though, I want to play a little bit of Speaker Mike Johnson this morning when he was asked to react. This is before this happened, but this morning when he was asked to react to Musk's anger with this bill.
So can I ask you your remarks regarding your conversation with Elon Musk? Have you been able to reach him?
No, actually, I'm going to call him right now.
And
Yeah.
you said you texted with him last night.
Yes.
Was that conversation fruitful at all?
Yeah, look, I'm not going to get into details of our personal conversations, but it's ongoing.
Just underscoring, the Speaker of the House is going to go call a private citizen, Jake, about his dissatisfaction with a bill.
A private citizen with 220 million followers on X. I mean, I don't think that part is the strange part here. Katie, I'll say this. I don't think there's any.
My point is that he's not just a private citizen. That's what I'm saying. Like he's
correct.
He's got he's a big deal, and obviously this is not just him calling a private citizen. It's a big deal for Elon Musk to go after this.
Yes, it's a huge deal because, and I think I've said this to you before, maybe offline, but if, Peter alluded to the fact that Elon Musk spent $280 million to elect Donald Trump. If he spends 1% of that less in a House primary to take out a Republican member of Congress, it will have a huge impact. So people have to have that in mind. I don't have any doubt, though, that the Congress, the members of the House and the Senate, in the House Republican and Senate Republican conference, they are going to line up with Donald Trump here. Now, some have misgivings about the bill, which are policy-based for the most part. I don't think that they're going to follow most of them are going to follow Musk down this rabbit hole. Now, I think that some of them will, and some of them will, Trump will try to bring some of them back in line. I don't think many of them will. But what Mike Johnson is trying to do, and he keeps saying Musk is his good friend and, they have a great relationship, but Musk is trying to kill the biggest thing Mike Johnson has ever done in his career. So I don't know how good of a friend Elon Musk is to Mike Johnson, but again, Mike Johnson is working with minuscule majorities here on Capitol Hill. He cannot afford any defections. And I just want to add one thing here. The idea that these EV tax credits would be stripped is not a surprise. This has been in the bill for many, many months. And that's why I don't totally buy that this is just as simple as Elon Musk, as the bill, hurting Elon Musk's bottom line. I just don't think it's that simple. There was never any doubt. I mean, Trump campaigned on the fact that he was going to strip these tax credits. Congress has been extraordinarily clear. The House Republicans have been very clear that they did not agree with these tax credits. So the idea that this is not something that kind of came out of left field, and also when Elon said that he hadn't seen the bill, this bill, for the most part, except for some small tweaks at the end, has been out there for a while. So it's not like this was dropped in the middle of the night and passed. Yes, it did pass in the middle of the night. There were some moving pieces until the last moment. But, it does feel the whole thing to me, Katie, and I think Peter alluded to this, it feels quite personal. And it doesn't feel like it's based on policy or a disagreement about some particulars in this gigantic bill, which, by the way, I was in that gaggle that you just showed a minute ago, and I've talked to Johnson a bunch about this. It's not a perfect bill, according to Johnson. It is, according to Johnson. I'm not saying one way or another, but Johnson said, listen, not everyone loves it. It's not perfect, but it's quite good for Republicans. And I think that's why, and listen, this is an institution that has bent to the will of Elon Musk, or at least paid him homage over the last couple months. And I think it's coming out of left field in that respect.
Yeah. So, by the way, I think the bill is actually the secondary part of this story at this point. I think the relationship and the implosion of the relationship, or maybe the implosion of the relationship, we'll see, is potentially so significant and so consequential for both of them. I mean, Tesla stock since 12 o'clock, down 9%. 12 o'clock is when that Oval Office meeting started, down 9%. Elon Musk has had a huge financial hit by being a part of this administration. His involvement with the administration has not gone over well with the people who buy his products. And you're also hearing now a lot of talk among Republicans that they never liked him in the first place. This is all, in whispers and rumors on on the Hill and from other reporting that they're glad he's gone. He didn't know what he was doing.
Cowards.
And I think maybe that's true. Maybe they didn't like him in the first place. But he is somebody who's consequential, and he's somebody who can spend money and make it count.
He spent it against me, in fact.
Okay.
He spent
Would
more
you take his money now if he wanted to come back around and say, Monday, I want to help you. I don't like the Republicans any longer?
Well, I'm very happy as a law firm partner these days. But here's the thing. He is correct when he says that absent his significant expenditures, Republicans would not have a majority in the House right now. He spent more money against me than he spent against any other House member in America, and that made a significant difference in the outcome.
This is here in New York.
This is right here right here in New York in the 17th congressional district, and so he's right to take credit for that. As horrible as our campaign finance system is, it allows a billionaire to essentially purchase elections by dint of his inordinate amount of wealth. I couldn't help but think how cowardly it is that all of a sudden these people, given cues now from the President of the United States, feel unencumbered to talk crap about Elon Musk when the rest of the world has seen how deranged and incompetent he has been and yet has been elevated at the highest levels of American government.